You're sitting in your annual review. Your manager smiles, shuffles some papers, and says, "We really value your contributions this year." Your stomach drops. You know what's coming next. The budget for raises this cycle is limited. Sound familiar? Here's what nobody tells you about that moment. The decision was made weeks ago, and you weren't in the room. Promotion decisions happen in calibration sessions. Your manager sits with other managers, fighting for budget, armed with whatever evidence they can remember about you. If they don't have ammunition, you don't get promoted. But here's the thing. Some people walk into review season with their promotion already locked in. Their managers aren't hoping for a raise, they're demanding one. What's the difference? Documentation, evidence, a case so airtight that saying no feels harder than saying yes. The professionals who advance fastest treat promotion building as a year-round activity, not a once-a-year scramble. Today I'm breaking down the exact 90-day evidence strategy that makes your promotion case undeniable. The artifacts, the quotes, the metrics, everything. Let's start with a hard truth. A strong promotion case takes 3 to 6 months of consistent documentation to build properly. You cannot assemble it in a week before review season. Think about it. When review season hits, you're scrambling to remember what you did 8 months ago. You're pulling up old emails, hoping you saved something useful. Everyone's doing the exact same thing. Your manager? They're doing the same scramble times 8, maybe times 12. They've got a whole team to advocate for and limited bandwidth to remember everyone's wins. So what happens? The person with the loudest accomplishments wins, not the best performer, the best documented performer, the one whose wins are impossible to forget. This is where the Brad document comes in. 5 minutes every Friday. That's it. You open a simple running document and record your wins from that week. What you shipped, what metrics moved, what feedback you got. Sounds simple because it is. The magic isn't in the format, it's in the consistency. Here's what the research says. One detailed example with specific metrics and context is worth more than 5 big ones. Quality over quantity, always. That means you need 2 to 3 strong examples per competency area, not a laundry list, a curated portfolio of your most impactful work, each one with numbers attached. But here's where most people mess up. They only track what they shipped. Features launched. Projects completed. That's table stakes. Everyone has that list. The difference makers are the metrics you probably aren't tracking. Revenue influenced, time saved for others. People you unblocked, processes you improved, scope you expanded beyond your title. Let me give you an example. Launched user onboarding redesign, that's what everyone writes. Here's what actually gets you promoted. Led onboarding redesign that reduced time to activation from 14 days to 6, increasing trial to paid conversion by 18% and adding 400,000 in ARR. That's a promotion case. See the difference? One describes an activity, the other proves business impact. When your manager walks into calibration, which one do you think they'll lead with? Now let's talk about the second pillar, peer feedback. According to promotion research, peer quotes are one of the strongest signals in any promotion case. Aim for 3 to 5 stakeholders. Not just your teammates. Cross-functional partners, the engineer who relied on your specs, the salesperson you supported on a big deal, the stakeholder from another department you collaborated with. Here's the move. Don't wait until review season to ask for feedback. By then, everyone's inbox is flooded with the same request. You become noise. One approach that tends to work well, you might consider asking for feedback right after a successful collaboration. The memory's fresh. The appreciation is genuine, and you're not competing with everyone else. Try this exact phrasing. "Hey, could you share an example of how my work impacted your team? I'm building a record of cross-functional contributions." Simple, direct, non-meaty. Save every one of these responses. Screenshot them, copy them into your Brad document. When calibration happens, your manager has actual quotes to read, not their interpretation of your work. Here's the biggest insight from the research. The single most persuasive argument for promotion is concrete evidence that you've already been performing at the higher level. Read that again. Promotions aren't about potential, they're about proof. You don't get promoted to do senior level work. You get promoted because you already are doing senior level work. That's the game. This means you need to build what promotion experts call scope evidence. Documentation proving you've operated beyond your current title, taken on bigger projects, influenced wider decisions, mentored others. Think about the last 3 months. Where did you step up beyond your job description? Where did you drive something that wasn't explicitly your responsibility? That's your scope evidence. It may help to track these moments specifically. Led cross-team initiative on X. Mentored 2 junior teammates on Y. Represented department in executive review. These prove you're ready for the next level. Now let's talk timing. 90 days before your review, that's when the strategy kicks into high gear. But there's one conversation you need to have first, and it's not about asking for a promotion. Research shows that surprising your manager with a promotion request during review season is one of the most common mistakes professionals make. It feels like an ambush, and ambushes don't get approved. Instead, try asking this in your next one-on-one. What does the path to the next level look like for me, and where do you see gaps I should work on? This does 3 things. First, it signals ambition without demanding. Second, it gets your manager thinking about your promotion before calibration. Third, and this is key, it gives you a roadmap of exactly what to document. If your manager says you need more executive presence, you now know to document every executive interaction over the next 90 days. If they say more strategic thinking, track every strategic initiative you contribute to. Here's a stat that might surprise you. Organizations that conduct regular performance reviews see nearly 15% lower turnover. Why? Because employees actually know where they stand. The problem is, most managers aren't great at giving proactive feedback, so you have to pull it out of them. The 90-day strategy turns you from passive recipient into active architect of your own review. At 60 days out, you're collecting peer feedback. At 30 days out, you're compiling everything into a promotion packet. And here's the part nobody tells you. Schedule a pre-review check-in. 30 days before your formal review, you might consider scheduling 15 minutes with your manager. Say, I'd like to walk you through what I've accomplished this cycle and get your feedback before the formal process. This meeting serves 2 purposes. First, you're planting the seed before calibration happens. Your manager now has you top of mind. Second, you can course correct if there's a gap you didn't know about. Imagine learning during formal review that your executive presence needed work, too late to do anything about it, versus learning 30 days early and scheduling 2 exec-level meetings before review. Let me give you the exact structure of a promotion packet that works. It's not a novel, it's not a resume. It's organized evidence, designed for easy skimming by time-strapped decision-makers. Page 1, Executive Summary. 3 sentences max. Who you are, what you've accomplished, why you're ready. If a VP has 30 seconds, this is what they'll read. Next, accomplishments by competency. 2 to 3 examples each, with specific metrics. Align these to whatever promotion criteria your company uses. If you don't know them, ask HR. Then, scope evidence. A short section proving you've operated at the next level. Cross-team initiatives, strategic contributions, leadership moments. This is your I'm already doing the job proof. Finally, peer testimonials. 3 to 5 direct quotes from stakeholders. Names attached if possible. These are gold. They prove your impact isn't just self-reported. One approach that tends to strengthen your case include before and after comparisons. When I started, the process took 2 weeks. After my redesign, it takes 2 days. That's undeniable evidence of impact. Here's something that separates good cases from great ones. Great cases anticipate objections. If there's a weakness in your record, address it proactively. Miss a deadline? Note what you learned. Had a project fail? Document the recovery. Decision makers respect self-awareness more than perfection. Own your story before someone else tells it. Now, let's talk about the money question. When you tie your work to revenue, the conversation changes. But not everyone can draw a direct line to revenue, and that's okay. There's a framework for this. If you can't show revenue directly, quantify time saved. My automation saves the team 40 hours per month. That's $200,000 annually in a high-cost market. Quantify people unblocked. My documentation enables 5 engineers to onboard 40% faster. That's faster time to productivity, faster time to shipping. Measurable business impact. If those approaches don't fit your role, consider quantifying risk reduction. Implemented security protocols that prevented potential breaches affecting 100,000 user accounts. Decision makers understand risk. The goal is simple: translate your work into language that executives speak. Executives think in dollars, percentages, and scale. Give them numbers they can repeat in calibration. Let's bring this all together. The 90-day timeline. At day 90, you're having the roadmap conversation with your manager. What does the path look like? Where are my gaps? From day 90 to day 60, you're in evidence collection mode. Weekly brag document updates. Tracking scope evidence. Requesting peer feedback after successful collaborations. Not waiting until the last minute. At day 60, you're actively reaching out for peer quotes. Specific asks, can you share an example of how my work impacted your team? You're banking testimonials while memories are fresh. At day 30, you're compiling the packet. Executive summary, accomplishments by competency, scope evidence, peer testimonials, clean, skimmable, designed for busy decision makers. Also at 30 days, you schedule that preview meeting. 15 minutes with your manager to walk through what you've built. Seed planted. Expectations aligned. No surprises. Then review day arrives. Your manager walks into calibration with a packet, with quotes, with numbers, with evidence that makes saying yes easier than saying no. While everyone else is hoping their manager remembers their wins, you've already done the work. Your case is built. Your evidence is airtight. That's the cheat code. And if this kind of thing resonates with you, if you want more strategies like this, hit subscribe. We break down the moves that actually move the needle every week. Let me leave you with 3 actions you can take today, right now. First, start your brag document. Open a fresh doc and write down 3 wins from this month. Takes 5 minutes. Second, schedule that roadmap conversation. In your next one-on-one, ask your manager, what does the path to the next level look like for me? Write down their answer verbatim. Third test, identify one peer you worked with recently who'd give you a strong quote. Send them that message this week. Could you share an example of how my work impacted your team? Promotions aren't given. They're proven. You can wait for your manager to notice your work, or you can build a case so compelling that ignoring it would be harder than promoting you. I know which one I'd choose. That's the 90-day evidence strategy. Build the case before anyone asks. Document what matters. Make the decision obvious. Your promotion shouldn't be a question. It should be an answer. I'm putting a link in the description to resources for building your own promotion packet. Until next time, document relentlessly, advocate clearly, and always build your case like a lawyer.